All right. I don't know exactly how this is going to fit in with James Gunn's DCU, but apparently there has been a Bane and Deathstroke movie that's been announced by DC Studios. Now, it's not two separate movies, it is both Bane and Deathstroke in the same movie. So that's gonna be nuts. Um, Now, the way things stand is we don't have a director, obviously, no cast. This film was literally just announced. And of course, its fate is going to lie in the hands of the script. And the script is being done by Matthew Orton, who also wrote the script for Captain America Brave New World. So we'll just have to wait and see if we think that this guy is any good, because I don't normally pay attention to script writers, so I don't know what his work is, how good he is. But what little I've seen of Captain America Brave New World, of the trailers, it looks like it's going to be a very interesting movie. Now, it doesn't say whether this is still chapter 1, but considering chapter 1 is titled Gods and Monsters, I would say that Bane would fit the bill of a monster. I mean, it's not your traditional monster in the sense of scary looking dude. Well, I guess Bane is kind of scary looking, but it's not like Frankenstein's monster or well, anybody from Creature Commandos. So, and I wouldn't call Deathstroke a monster per se. I mean, he is a villain, but I guess that depends on your definition of monster. If by monster you mean somebody who does something beyond the pale, then yeah. A lot of villains would be considered monsters. How the Joker could be considered a monster in that respect. So, for those who are not familiar with the characters, Bane is a relatively recent addition to Batman's Rogues Gallery, with writer Chuck Dixon and artist Graham Nolan creating him in the early 1990s. The character was born and raised in a prison on a fictional Caribbean isle, a locale that allowed him to not only hone his brute fighting skills, but also absorb the teachings from all manner of international criminals. He later was the subject of a horrific steroidal test, an experiment that left him incredibly strong but also addicted to the serum. The character made his mark in an epic storyline titled Nightfall, in which he brutally broke Batman's back, a story that catapulted him to the upper rankings of Bat villains. The character has appeared in numerous video games and TV series and was notably portrayed by a muffled Tom Hardy in the final installment of Nolan's Batman trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. Deathstroke was first introduced in 1980 to be a top-tier villain for the Teen Titans, but the super-enhanced Master Assassin grew to become one of DC's most popular bad guys, squaring off against Batman and the Justice League and headlining his own comic title several times. The character, created by writer Marv Wolfman and artist George Perez, has popped up in video games and animated fare. S.I. Morales played the character in the recent live-action Titans series, while Joe Manganiello, I know I can say that, Manganiello, Yeah, my tongue is not working right now. Cameoed as the one-eyed killer in some of Zack Snyder's DC movies. Cameoed is generous. But anyway. At one point, he was going to be the villain of The Batman back when Ben Affleck was directing and starring. At another point, he was attached to a star in a Deathstroke movie from the Raid director Gareth Evans. Now, I watched The Titans, so I did see S.I. Morales' version of Deathstroke, so I don't know how comic book accurate he was. But I mean, it was weird, but considering the Batman universe is heavy on weird, that can't be a criticism. So I'm not sure. Now, as I said, the script hasn't been written yet. So, we don't know. This could end up in development hell, just like Blade, because they can't find a suitable story. Which, considering Blade, and considering Marvel, like, we had Werewolf by Night, we've had Doctor Strange, we kind of sort of got introduced to Black Knight, Dane Whitman. I would think that it shouldn't be too hard to write a story for Blade. I mean, there was, a trilogy of movies in the 80s, I think, with Wesley Snipes? Maybe 90s. I don't know. I get those decades confused. So, I wouldn't think it would be that hard, but apparently it's very hard to come up with a good story for Blade. I hope this isn't a matter of we want the perfect story, because let's face it, it might be the perfect story, but it should be entertaining too. Some people don't, those things don't necessarily go together. So, yeah. This was just announced. Hopefully it happens, because those two are just so random. I mean, outside of being, Deathstroke mostly a Teen Titan villain, but these two are both Batman villains. I don't know of them having anything else in common. So, yeah, I have no idea how this is going to, what this movie's going to be about. If this is going to be a more buddy anti-hero movie, or is this going to be like King Kong versus Godzilla? Or how are they going to do it? Or Deadpool versus Wolverine. You get the idea that they start off as adversaries. Maybe they come together for a reason, or maybe they're always adversaries. Who knows? As I said, there's no script yet. So, but yeah, to me, this is very random to put Bane and Deathstroke in the same movie. Though I'm sure there's a lot of comic book fans probably have asked this question of what would happen if Bane and Deathstroke went up against each other, because there's always these battles of, this person versus this person. So maybe there are some fans who would love to see this. I honestly don't know. Now the question becomes, if we get a script, and if this movie is officially greenlit, because even though it's been announced, it won't be greenlit unless there's a decent script. Obviously, James Gunn and Peter Safran aren't going to just burn money. They will want a decent script. Probably why Blade is in development hell in the Marvel Universe. For that very reason, that the powers that be, being Kevin Feige and Mahershala Ali, either one is fine with the script or the other one is fine with the script, but they haven't come together and everybody agrees on a good script. So yeah, that's where we're at with this movie. It's been announced, but what I'd like to know is, what kind of a movie would you like to see? And who would you like to play Bane and Deathstroke? I'm really curious what you guys think, because it's so early in development. The sky's the limit at this point. So I'm really curious what you guys think. What kind of movie would you like to see with Bane and Deathstroke? And who would you like to play both characters? Because it sounds like this is not going to be a Batman movie. I don't know where in the timeline this movie is going to fall. Nobody says that they're shooting for a date, because, well, it literally was just announced. So they probably don't have any set year, let alone month. But also, they, like I said, they didn't tell us, is this still chapter 1? Is this going to be chapter 2? Is this are they just going to wait till they get a script and then they're going to announce whether it's still chapter 1 or beginning of chapter 2, or just a movie within chapter 2? We just do not know what is happening. I assume because they're doing chapters that they're going to, like Marvel had like 3 phases before they had an Avengers movie, that they're going to have like 2 or 3 phases maybe before they have a Justice League movie. But so far, of what we've heard, we just don't know who the overarching big bad is going to be, or how they're going to do the Justice League movie, because I assume that is what we're working towards. So, and also, if you want to have a hero of the movie, or if Bane and Deathstroke are probably going to be the heroes of the movie, because, Joker was a standalone movie. There was no Batman. So I don't expect to see any traditional heroes. So, yeah, how would you like this movie to play out? They start off as adversaries and then they have to team up because of something even worse. Or they are both going against a bad guy and they're at cross purposes, or they start off as cross purposes and end up working together, or they just fight each other the entire movie. What do you guys want to see? I believe that is all I have for this video. I was briefly considering going by a article in comicbook.com where they list their suggestions for the new Batman. But then this happened, so yeah, I figured this is more interesting. Obviously, we all well, I shouldn't say we, because I don't. I'm not wondering, who would make a good Batman? I'm just gonna go with what's announced. But a lot of people, a lot of fans probably have a suggestion as to who they want to play Batman. And remember, he has a 12-year-old. So it's not going to be a young Batman. Because Damian Wayne exists. So, yeah. Yeah, that I believe is all I had for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.